What's going on, guys? Dark Saint here, bringing you guys a special news update. Today we're going to be talking about the patch 1.2. There hasn't been an official patch notes listing, however, I will leave a link in the description box below so you can go ahead and you can read up on everything that we know so far. And today I'm just going to give you guys what we know and give you guys my thoughts and my ideas on exactly where it's going and whether or not some of these things are good, what's bad, and what you guys can expect, and even maybe even some hints and tips for you guys that are looking to rank up in the Dark Zone. This actually could be beneficial to help you guys get to a higher rank so you can buy those blueprints and stuff that you guys are looking for. Alright, so let's go ahead and jump into it. Okay, the first thing I did want to mention on this is that they are going to take a little bit more time to release a date on 1.2. They said that they are doing some extra testing and stuff like that so that we don't run into the same issues we had with 1.1, and not just, the exploits or the bugs. Bugs are always going to be there. Unfortunately, that's just part of any MLG game. There's always bugs and exploits that people can take advantage of, and hopefully they can get rid of the majority of them. But what they're really looking at is the game-breaking things, such as people losing their accounts on Xbox, like losing their players altogether and their players disappearing, backpack issues, stuff like that, stuff that should not be in a patch in any way, shape, or form. That's got to be taken out. Hopefully they're going to catch most of the exploits, but we'll see how that works out. The next thing we're going to look at is we're supposed to see less mods dropping. I know that there's like an extreme amount of mods and clothing items. They didn't really mention clothing items, but they did say there's going to be less mods dropping. I'm hoping there's less clothing items dropping as well, as we find those all the time. But we'll see about that. It's kind of up in the air on that just because of the new lobby set of 200 plus, which we'll cover that in a minute. But we do know there's going to be more weapons drops and of better and higher quality. And again, we'll go over the better and higher quality in just a minute. They did say that there's not going to be a nerf. They said just little tweaks here and there, but we'll have to see. They did say rather than nerfing the current Supreme weapons, which as you guys know is the Marksman rifles and the submachine guns, they're actually supposed to buff the rest of the weapons to match up to them to make them more viable. Whether or not they'll hit that balance just right or not, we'll have to see. But this should put assault rifles back into matching categories with submachine guns and maybe even push LMGs in there. Not really sure. LMGs are good. Don't get me wrong. I think LMGs are really, really good weapons. They don't have high damage because they have so much ammo. And they have an extremely good amount of accuracy. The longer you fire them, the more accurate they get. So getting them to the point where they're viable in PvP might make them over the top in PvE and make it to where you pretty much have to run a submachine gun and LMG or an LMG and a sniper for PvE. So we'll have to wait and see how that goes. I'm not necessarily complaining about that, as submachine guns and assault rifles could be pushed straight to PvP, and LMG snipers get pushed to PvE, and then you have your variety right there. Shotguns are still kind of in the mix. Maybe we'll see a buff to shotguns, maybe we won't. Honestly, I think the way shotguns are right now, that they're fairly decent. It's really, really good to use them with striker gear sets, though. So there's that. Okay, next we're going to go over the patches. What we do know is being patched, and the number one thing that everyone's going to be happy for is the perk One is None. If you guys haven't known or haven't seen it or haven't used it or whatever, the perk One is None allows it to where 50% of all the shots that you fire come back to your magazine. And this is very, very, very effective with shotguns, as instead of it's per shot, it's per pellet, and every single tiny little bead or pellet inside your shotgun has a 50% chance of returning the shell to the magazine. So I mean, you're guaranteed to get that shell back so long as you're hitting headshots. Anyway, that perk is currently glitched to where as you're firing, it will sometimes cause your weapon to where it will not reload, so you have to swap your weapon to a different weapon, and then for some reason you get half your magazine back, and then you swap back to it, and then you still have to reload it anyway. It's really bugged out, a really big issue that will be patched when update 1.2 comes out, which might be forever. We still haven't gotten a date on that, so either way, it's being fixed. That's a good thing. I'm not going to complain about it. It needs to be fixed. Next is the Reckless perk. That's supposed to be fixed, so there won't be as many reckless exploiting or taking advantage of, or the counter side you might be being hurt by it. So either way, that's supposed to be fixed. It's supposed to be working as intended. Next one is the mission doors not opening properly. I don't know if you guys have ever noticed if you start up a challenge mode, for whatever reason, the challenge mode won't start, or maybe you're going through a mission and you get to a door that's supposed to be open and the enemies have already came out, you killed everything, but the door still won't open. Maybe there's a button on it and you hit the button 100 times, it still doesn't open. I personally have not seen this issue on my account. However, I have heard a lot of people having this issue. So that's supposed to be fixed and taken care of. The next thing is the base of operation. If you guys have any issues with your base of operation, maybe getting it accessing properly, maybe one of the wings isn't updating, that's supposed to be fixed as well. Again, I've never seen that issue myself, but it's supposed to be fixed. And the last one, and this one is rather upsetting to me because I think it's a very good talent the way that it is. I don't think that it's game breaking in any way, but nonetheless, they are fixing the talent balanced, which, let's be honest, it's a nerf. Basically, what balance does, and a lot of you guys are looking for it on your M1A or your assault rifles or whatever, it makes it to where shouldering your weapon gets you to max accuracy faster, which on LMGs is great because LMGs normally have that big spread, and as you shoot them, they get tighter. And snipers and assault rifles, they normally bloom up really, really bad. Well, the balance perk makes it to where that bloom is significantly less aggressive. On M1A, first wave M1A or SOCOM M1A, it's not even there. On most AKs and SCAR models, there is no bloom whatsoever because the balance counters it and keeps it tight. And what it does is supposed to say reaches max accuracy while shouldering a weapon. Now, the way they described it is that's supposed to be while shouldering, meaning you're running it with hipfire, and then as you shoulder it, it reaches max accuracy. Which, say, for example, you're running with a sniper, and you go to start shooting, and it's got that really wide bloom, and then it comes in after you settle down for a second. That's what balance is supposed to fix. It's supposed to make it to where as soon as you bring it up, it's tight. However, it's not supposed to stay tight while you're shooting, not while you have the weapon shouldered. Honestly, I think the perk, the way that it is fine. However, they think it's too overpowered, which I can understand in some regard, as in you run up on a bunch of people and you're able to consistently just snipe the crap out of them dead on every time. Very little recoil in the M1As, so maybe able to land those consistent shots can be a little bit overpowered. Personally, I think it's a great perk, but for those of you guys that do have it, you may want to consider changing it out for something better after update 1.2. For now, enjoy it. If you have it, enjoy it. Get your fun out of it because it will be patched soon. So I'm sorry that that is being patched. I don't think it should be, but they said that that's not how it works as intended once it was launched, and they just are taking their sweet time fixing it, which at this point is making it to where everyone that already has it and has rolled their weapons a million times over to get it are being screwed. So I disagree with it, but that's how it is. Either way, don't hate the game for that. That is something that wasn't supposed to be that way. So hopefully in the future we won't see something like this happening. Okay, and finally we're going to talk about the new Dark Zone. Not necessarily a new Dark Zone area or anything. It's just, as you guys know, there is a separation between those that have a gear score of 160 and below and those that have a gear score of 161 and higher. What you may not know that if you have any item whatsoever that breaks the 160 margin, you'll automatically be put there. Even if your gear score is like 120, if you have one item that's above that 161 margin, you'll automatically be put into that lobby. Well, now they're making a third tier, which is your 200. If your gear score is above 200, you'll be put into the most elite of brackets. So now you're going to have 3 brackets: the beginners, the intermediate, and the highest gear score of the game. Now, in some ways, this is very beneficial, as those that already have high gear scores can take advantage of it and be able to run in this high Dark Zone. Now, before I talk about this Dark Zone and the benefits of running in this Dark Zone, I want to tell you guys about a way to stay in the 200, below the 200, but above the 160, and probably be able to reign supreme. As you guys know, there is some gear set items that run at 191, and there's some high-end items that run at 182. If you guys have seen any of my other videos, you already know that 182 quality is a higher quality than 191. However, you can still get 191 gear sets that give you the gear set perk. So imagine running 4 191 Sentry Call, giving you your Sentry Call ability, being able to bring back your first wave M1A that was 182, and your Black Market AK-47 that was 182, and some sawed-off shotgun or something that you had a blast from the past that you did not dismantle, bring that back to your character, get your second character or whatever, equip all that 182 on it, get some 191 gear set items, put it on it. Nothing has broken your 200 margin, but you can still have an insanely strong build, being able to bring back those blasts from the past, weapons that you used to use, used to love, and you stored them away just because, oh, well, now you can't use them. I know I've kept several of them that were with me from the beginning of the game. I can't wait to bring them back, put them on a second character, and this will help you guys for those that are trying to rank up in the Dark Zone. I highly recommend taking advantage of this, bringing in that 191, those 182s that you've had forever. Be sure to check out my videos covering the best gas masks, basically all the armor sets. They're coming out every day. Sunday will be the last day where I cover everything about them, so look forward to that video. Either way, be sure to check them out so you know what their armor ratings can be between 191 and 182, and try and make an insanely strong build and tear up that Dark Zone, you guys. Have fun with it. Now that the margins are broken, you can really take advantage of that and go in rogue and building your rank in that lobby. Now, for those of you guys that are running in the 200 or above lobby, there will not be any green or blue division tech in this lobby. All division tech will be high end. Thank God. So for those of you guys that are running in the 200 or above, you will find non-stop high-end division tech regardless of what zone you're in, from DZ01 all the way to 06. That being said, all the enemies that are currently in the Dark Zone, once you break that bracket of 200, will be upgraded dramatically. All the DZ01 and 02 enemies will be rank 32, which if you don't know, rank 32 is what the DZ06 enemies are. So all those 01, 02 areas are going to be full of level 32 enemies, and the higher you go, the stronger the enemies. 3 and 4 will probably be level 33 enemies, and 5 and 6 will be level 34 enemies, which if you don't know, that's the same level that are on the challenge mode incursion. So these guys are going to be legit. These shotgunners are going to destroy you if you don't have a good team. If any of you guys have ever taken on challenge mode, you know what I'm talking about. So be careful running in there. Do not do that solo. I highly recommend don't do that solo unless you can snipe them out and use some serious things. And I'm seriously worried about the cleaners being that level. We've already seen LMB. Imagine what a flamethrower could do to you. I'm excited about it in some ways, in other ways not so much. Either way, look forward to that. The other thing is they did say that you're going to be able to find better loot. You're not going to be finding these 163s and these 182s. You're actually going to be finding 204s. And even, this is something that they announced as well, you will be able to find 240 gear sets in the Dark Zone. Now, I personally am kind of against this, as I believe 240 are the best quality you can get, and those should be restricted to the incursion. However, with the new incursion coming out, there might be a higher gear set that's in there, so putting the 240 in the Dark Zone might do that. However, if they do that, there wouldn't be a point in running the challenge mode incursion that takes an hour and a half to run, and you can get it out of a boss drop. Now, of course, these bosses aren't guaranteed to drop that, and you will have to kill a whole bunch of bosses just for a chance of getting it, whereas the incursion's a guarantee, but really that'll just push more and more people to the other incursion and pretty much kill Falcon Lost for anyone that, really is looking for, gear. So we'll see how that goes. If you are looking for some 240 gear sets, though, you can start getting them out of the Dark Zone as long as you're in the above 200 bracket. Also, they did want this to help stop harassing players. I will put a video up in just a minute of me going against two guys that were well below my gear score, and me pretty much walking all over them. They had no reason to be in my Dark Zone. And I say my Dark Zone, but I mean, that's really what it felt like. They had no reason to be in the Dark Zone that I was at. They should have been put back in the 160 or below Dark Zone. I don't know what they were thinking. They challenged me for a long time, even after I was pretty much walking towards them while they were blasting me in the face, and just able to kill them. So there's that. They did say that during the test, somebody found a deadly, brutal, fierce combo AK at 204 during the test. Of course, he couldn't keep it, but that shows you that they are looking for, better quality items. Either way, you guys, that'll pretty much wrap it up for this video. I will show you this quick clip of me walking all over these noobs and, I'm destroying them. But you know, that pretty much wraps up all the notes that we have so far. I will continue to watch out for any new notes that we come across. Be sure to keep tuned to this channel and be sure to subscribe. Appreciate you guys for watching and catch you next time.
A new agent is joining your team.
Sure you want to challenge, you guys? Are you absolutely sure?